my name is Narasimha Rao. If you look at what I'm going to talk is flash forward. What is coming in your mind first thing when you say flash forward? Flash arrays? Okay. And there's something which is written in the down, that is many ways to implement storage, right? So does it mean that it covers only flash? Sorry? Okay, good. Hybrid. So exactly the same thing. So I'll just move. Okay. So digitization. When you say digitization, what does it mean actually? So we are having a more data coming into the data center, right? Right? So what will happen here is there is a heavy load on the data center. A lot of data you ingest, a lot of data you do an analytics, and a lot of data you actually submit to the multiple customers also, right? So what does it mean? Actually, it is actually putting a lot of load in the storage. So what are the important things which you are looking for in the storage? Is response time, correct? Then you have any capacity. At the same time, you need to balance between the cost. Between the response time and capacity, you need to balance the cost also. That's also a very important thing which you need to understand. So, what this picture talks about? Can you guess? Sorry, complexity? Then? Multiple directions? Just think about one thing. All cars are data. That's giving a hint, right? There's so many things on this. This is what we talked about, right? This is one single solution will not solve all the problems. That is what you need to understand here. There is a hyper-converged. It's very flexible. It is agile. There is software defined. That is for the large data to address. That is tier 2, tier 3 data. There is hybrid where you want to consolidate large data as well as the high performance, and there is all flash. All flash, someone has talked about all flash, right? All flash will give you a very low response time, right? With high performance, but it's not suitable for all the solutions. Please remember that. So people get fascinated saying, I want all flash. Someone says that hybrid is dead. You remember that some of my friends who spoke about saying that tape is dead 10 years back or 5 years back. Have you heard about something like this? So how many people are using tape drives now again? Everybody is using. Where is the tapes dead? So there is a specialized requirement for the disk-to-disk backup and there is a specialized requirement for the tape. The tape, what flexibility will be given, the disk-to-disk backup will not give. That you need to understand here. So everything will coexist, right? Everything will coexist. They will not die. First thing which you need to understand that. Right? Let's move to that. So starting point, what you do is scalability. There are two ways to look at. One is the classical way. You have a network separate, you have a storage separate, you have a compute separate. The other one is HCI, hyper-converged infrastructure. So server acts as in multiple roles. It acts as in a compute, it acts as in a storage, it acts as in a network also. So let's start with this classical way. What is the advantage of this? Classical way is that you can go independently. When you want to grow storage, you can actually grow only storage. You don't need to add a compute again. When you want to grow only networking, you don't need to add a compute again. You can actually grow it first, right? But there is something called two different types of data which is required today. So one is structured, one is unstructured, right? So server virtualization, OLTP, all these require very high performance. Very high performance. But if you look at the other side, you have a large data which is 85% of data which is unused in all the data centers. If you really look at that. Is unstructured data, it's like a content depot. So if you put in a all flash for the unstructured data, you will not able to justify the cost. That's a very important thing. If you put unstructured data in HCI, that is hyper-converged infrastructure, do you think that is there any useful for that? Do you see the benefits if you put unstructured data in hyper-converged infrastructure? No. Right. So hyper-converged infrastructure, let's say, example, unstructured data, you have 200 terabytes, right? Or a 2 petabyte of data. You are rarely referring that data, not regularly, right? But you require that data because of the compliance purpose. It's not suggestible to have an HCA, right? There is a different way to do it for that because you have to balance the cost. HCI is not cheap, please remember that. Yeah. Almost, if you look at the studies given by them, okay, 85% of data is not regularly used. Okay? Right. It's unstructured, and I'm just talking about two things. One is unstructured data, other thing is the data in the data center. Okay? Let's go to this. For the high performance, obviously you all go for an all flash. What is the highest capacity of SSD today? What is the highest capacity available in SSD today? Sorry? 15.3 TB, right? And roadmap is 40 TB. What is the highest capacity of SAS? SAS, not NL SAS. Okay, NL SAS also. NL SAS is 10 TB, roadmap is 12 TB. SAS is 1.8 TB. So why everyone is opting for this? There are two things to this. One is there is no mechanical thing, right? Number one. Number two is it's very fast. Number three is it's actually roadmap is shown to them saying that we're going to develop continuously and your data capacity will keep on growing, right? That's a very important thing, right? That is what everyone has started opting for this one, all flash storage. But still all flash compared to the 4 years back, 4 years it is actually 10 times costlier than the SAS disk. Today it is only 4 times costlier. So you see the difference? On the other side you have software defined hyperscale. This is actually used for the unstructured data, for the referential data. It's a huge data which is actually laying. Okay? It is used as a content depot for the reference purpose. This is what the software defined hyperscale is, what people are looking for now. And of course, hybrid. You have auto tiering, you have SAS, SSDs, you have data movement between them. This exists still because there are people who are going to consolidate high performance data as well as the unstructured data in one single storage. In that scenario, this is the best fit, right? So all flash. The price, as I said, it's 4 times costlier, but down the line it will be cheaper. So what will happen here is that you will be able to achieve the ROI of all flash because of dedupe. Doesn't mean that all data will do a dedupe and compression. That's one more star will be there. That's important thing. Because of dedupe and compression and the capacity which they are opting for, 40 terabytes. If you look at the price down the line 2 years, you will actually balance between the SAS and SSDs, SAS and SSD disk, right? Then of course, hybrid, you need to have a consolidated both, so you need to have a hybrid. So let's talk about software defined storage. What do you mean by software defined storage? Sorry? Hyperscaling? Whenever you want, you can scale, right? What else? Okay, then? Okay, so hyper-converged, software defined storage is nothing but, it's not in a traditional way, you have a dual controller or 4 controller or a 6 controller or something like that. It is nothing but you are having a single, each and every node as a storage node, each and every server which is there within a JBoard connected as a single node. Okay? Virtually speaking, you can say there is no limit to this. You can expand like anything, there is no limit to this. And other thing what you need to understand here is, this is no data migration here. Today you will have an Skylake processor, what people are talking about. Tomorrow you have some other processor. It's very easy to actually scale because you can actually buy other new processor server, or you can fix it in that, and then you can actually migrate the data. The other important thing is it's totally immortal. We call it as immortal, means it never dies. The concept is there. The hardware will get refreshed continuously. Right? That's an advantage you can look at. And there is no migration. Very important thing. Any storage you buy, after 7 years you buy another storage, again you have to do a migration. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right? So here there is no migration. When you say fewer migrations, still I can say zero migration, because there is no migration here. It will automatically adjust the data between them. Right? But challenges. That's important thing. So you can buy 3 different servers or 3 similar servers, and you can actually build a software defined storage. You don't require any expert from any OEM. You can build yourself. You can build yourself software defined storage. But what is the disadvantage here? Hidden cost. You should have a separate skills to do that. You should have a people to manage this. In software defined storage, when I say you can add on the line any node, you can actually replace any node online. English looks good, right? But how many commands you have to run to do that is what matters. There's at least 10 commands you have to run to actually add a node. Or you need to remove a node, you need to add another 15 commands you have to do it. Right? But it has got very higher latency compared to the flash. Right? So if you go within a software defined storage alone, it will be a disaster like this. So what I mean to say is that you need to go with this solution software defined storage with a vendor who can actually give end-to-end support. If he takes care of end-to-end support, then you are safe. Otherwise, you will end in actually finding the interoperability, support matrix, this, that, and all, and you will end up with something else. Okay? So, normally software defined storage also supports a cloud architecture, so it supports S3, it supports a distributed file storage, right? But it's not meant for online data. Please remember, it's not meant for online data. If someone comes and says that, boss, software defined storage is the way to go, we have to shift everything from there to here. No. You need to understand, is it required or not? That's important thing, right? So the demands for the new class of storage, right? So you have seen the databases, that's very easy. You have a VDIs, it's easy. You have a virtual disks, it's easy. But we have something different. These are the candidates for the software defined storage. That is unstructured data, operating system vendors, agnostic, and very important thing, global namespace. It all should look as in one single volume. You can able to trace your file wherever it is, even though you have multiple nodes. So these are the candidates for the software defined storage, right? So I just skip this slide, there's nothing on that. Okay, so software defined storage means what? There is a software layer sitting on that, right? It is nothing but from the OpenStack, right? Red Hat or from the SUSE. So normally most of the people use a Ceph. Have you heard about something called Ceph? So Ceph is actually you can download from the internet, you can make multiple servers together as in software defined storage. Why OpenStack? 80%. The cloud in public cloud is based on Linux, right? So open switches vendor without any change of technology, you don't require a Cisco or this one or that one, you don't require that. So it's open to anyone. So any switch you can put, it will work. So other thing is all the cloud native applications are main driven for this, right? So let's go to hyper-converged. So this is the buzzword, right? Everyone wants to implement the hyper-converged. So let's see what are the advantages of this. What exactly hyper-converged means? Hyper-converged means servers. It's purely servers with an internal disk. It interconnected each other within a 10 gig, and you will be running in a hypervisor on the top of that. And servers, sorry, how do I go back? Okay, advantages, server plays in a multi-role here. Server can act as in a compute, server can act as in a storage, can also act as in a networking. That's an advantage. It's very flexible enough to implement this, and very flexible enough, agile to actually scale this one. Very important thing here. But very important thing is, it's not fit for heterogeneous workloads. Do you agree hyper-converged will fit for heterogeneous workloads? Do you agree? Any workload I can put in a hyper-converged. Do you agree to this? Right. You cannot put everything in the hyper-converged. So there are different candidates for the hyper-converged. Applications, yes, I agree, there is no doubt on that one. But not large content data, you cannot put in hyper-converged in HPC data, all these things you cannot do it. You cannot put it, right? So who are the top players in hyper-converged? You know very well, VMware and Microsoft. These are the two top players who are there. I think this is getting stuck. Okay, who are there in the market now? VMware and hyper-converged, Microsoft. So obviously, Fujitsu is tightly integrated primary servers within hyper-converged solution for the both VMware like vSAN and Microsoft within a storage directs, right? So storage-based direct, sorry. So what here suggestion also is look for a simple system integrator who can actually integrate everything together. If you try to do yourself, you will end up in spending a lot of people resource and a lot of cost involved into that one. So you need to look at integrated systems from a single vendor who can actually do it. There is a customer who has asked me about software-defined storage. You are saying that Fujitsu servers. Okay, today I'll buy 10 nodes, tomorrow I'll buy 3 Dell nodes. Can I put it? Can I put that? Yes, you can put, right? But who will support that? 2 people has to support? Interoperability, support matrix, everything has to come into picture, right? There should be a common vendor to actually, if you are looking for a solution. That actually makes life easy, right? So what we have in the Fujitsu? So we have all flash storage, we call it Eternus, so which is scalable. Basically we look at scalability is other term people talks about, but all flash you should talk only on the performance. This is actually leading a performance in SPC1 results. You know SPC1 results, Storage Performance Council? Have you gone through that, anyone? SPC1 results, this is a Storage Performance Council, is a third party vendor who actually everyone submits their storage there and they will do a testing for that and publish a results. Okay, so Eternus hybrid, it has got a DX storage system, right? This, you don't believe it, this system, if you look at that Eternus DX, which has got from entry level to the high end, is in the same OS, same firmware, the GUI is same, hard disk are same. What is the advantage? You don't require a different skill sets to manage it, right? You require a separate skill sets for low-end system, you require a separate skill set for high-end system generally, but you don't require here because if you are able to configure one of the storage from the Fujitsu, you can configure any storage in the Fujitsu because GUI is same. And it's interoperability between low end to the high end. That means I can actually replicate the data between them. I can actually have a single GUI in that one. That's the important thing. The flexibility is very important. And very important thing is there's a high-end machine which is there in the DX 8900 in the DX portfolio, which is scalable to 24 controllers. No one has got 24 SAN controllers in this world. That is the scalability which I am talking about, which has got 4,600 drives it supports. Yes, people are there to support more than that, but if you look at the number of controllers, this is the highest. And the 8900 is actually leading the highest throughput in the SPC1 results. SPC2 results, sorry. And yes. Right? Yes. Yes. But performance? The question here is it a right fit for having a dual controller with this many disks or not? In general, if you look at that, any storage you take, I'm not talking about Fujitsu, any storage you take, there are three things when they design it. One is that how much this controller can take, how many disks it can take. How that figure comes, like 4,600 or 1,000 disks or in a 264 disk, how it is? Because it runs out of the band. So internal bandwidth will go for a task if you have multiple disks. You cannot manage. Like in a cart, you have how many horses? So you have more horses. How do you manage it? You can put it. No, everyone can put. That's not a problem because you have a. Bottleneck will controllers, because now disk SSD which you are talking, those days over, controllers powerful, disk are slow. Now disk are faster than controllers. Correct me if I am wrong. Disk is faster than controller now because it has SSD now, right? So software defined. So we have something called CD10K. It is from the Eternus family. So it is a software defined storage. So when I said something, you can actually integrate multiple servers together. You can download the software defined software. You can make it as a software defined storage. But you have a problem in terms of adding the nodes. You have a problem in terms of replacing the nodes because you have to run a multiple commands to that. But Fujitsu actually pick up that same Ceph, okay, from the Red Hat, and they actually customized in such a way that in one click you can actually replace the node. We have created a single GUI for that one, okay, and single GUI to monitor all the nodes. How many nodes? It doesn't matter. Virtually speaking, you don't actually have a scalability in terms of that. You can actually scale like anything. But testers is 256 nodes, right? And of course, hyper-converged. So we have PrimeFlex portfolio. We have from VMware. We have from Microsoft. So one thing which I want to tell you before completing my presentation is that everything will coexist. Nothing will die. I still remember the days when iSCSI came, people says FC is dead. They said, have you heard about something like this? FC is dead. When FCOE has come, again they said iSCSI is dead or an FC is dead. Today hyper-converged came, people says that your storage is dead. That's not true, please remember that. So you have each solution has got his own significance. Each solution will give a different ROI for everything, and you need to actually talk to Fujitsu to understand which one is better. That's it, my solution. Any questions? No questions? Anyway, I will be available outside.
So
you can
we have a
actually
question
come and
here.
talk. Yeah, sorry.
How do you handle this sooner
or later cost will come, the migration cost and all those things. So if CFO says, how do you know which one is good ROI or which one is, say, better value for money in so many solutions? So in this word, how do you handle?
So it's a small question, but answer will be very big. Okay. As I said to you that you have a different characteristics for different applications, right? So if a CEO wants to actually, let's say, want to consolidate both structured and unstructured data, he doesn't have a huge data. Let's take an example. He doesn't have any huge data. It may be in 100 terabyte or 200 terabyte. We always suggest you to, this is what hybrid you go today, right? Down the line, it is scalable to extend to some extent, okay? But you never go with two different solutions for the two different applications. You don't go for the two. A lot of CCTV projects, your question is one more, maybe I'm talking something, but a lot of CCTV projects, if you look at the specs, they say iSCSI, they say FC, they say NAS. But what I am saying for the CCTV is software defined storage. That is the best solution. But adoption is only 5% today, software defined storage. But it's going to grow, but it will not grow like HCI. Thank you.